G'day guys, Seeney. Welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth Channel, and in this episode we're going to be talking about what different percentages of wealth look like here in Australia. So please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. So I'm just here on holiday in Fiji. It's a very, very beautiful place. Love Fiji. It's been a long time since I've been here, but I have a bit of time, so I thought that I would make some more YouTube videos about some updated income and also wealth. So in this video, we're going to be looking at wealth in particular. So this isn't how much that you're earning. This is what your asset base looks like, whether you own a house, stocks, cars, how much you're worth, so to speak. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about this in a personal sense because everyone's worth a lot. But there are, of course, different levels of money and value. And money is basically the scoreboard of value. So this is data that I've pulled from Credit Suisse. So take it with a grain of salt. They can't even run a bank effectively, but they do manage a lot of very wealthy people's money. So it gives a little bit of insight into what the different percentages are in terms of wealth and how much you need behind you in terms of assets to see where you're sitting. So the total wealth in Australia is estimated to be about 9.9 trillion US dollars. So that's pretty significant. Australia's a very wealthy country, especially per capita. When you think that there's only like 26 million people in this country in comparison to other countries like say China and India, which both have over 1 billion each, and America, which is starting to nudge closer to 400 million people. You know, we're incredibly wealthy in this country. So just keep that in mind. So as we go through, we're going to start at the top 50%. So the top 50% of people in Australia, so looking at individuals here, we're not looking at households where that's combined. So the top 50%, you need to have a net worth of $232,000 to be sitting in the top 50%. So this is quite high. 50% of people in Australia have less than this amount of money. 50% of people have more than $232,000. So if we bump up a little bit more, we're looking at the top 30% of people. So that figure is $440,000. So if you have more than $440,000, then you're in the top 30%. It's that simple. The reason that a lot of these metrics seem quite high is because Australia has so many homeowners, which has been an absolute fantastic driver for wealth over the long period of time. So if we bump up a little bit further and we go to the top 20, this is where things start to escalate quite rapidly. So to be in the top 20% of the wealthiest in Australia, you need to have a net worth of over $740,000. So that's starting to get up there. But remember, that is 1 in 5 people has a net worth over this. So it's pretty significant, and there's still a lot of people out there that do have this kind of asset base behind them. Now, if we bump up again, we're going to look at the top 10%. So this is 1 in 10 people in Australia, which means it's roughly 2.6 million people that have a net worth above this figure. So to be in the top 10%, you need a net worth of 1.6 million. So this is starting to get quite high. Even if you're a millionaire, you have $1 million worth of assets behind you, you're not even in the top 10% in Australia, which just goes to show how wealthy this country actually is. But of course, this does continue to increase quite drastically when we get to the top end. So the top 5% of people in Australia have a net worth of over $2.9 million. So nearly $3 million to be even in the top 5% of people. So in Australia, this is roughly about 1 million people that has this level of wealth in the country. Now, if we bump up even further, we're going to go right to the top. So the top 1%. To be considered the top 1% of wealth holders here in Australia, you need to have an asset base and a net worth of $10.9 million. $10.9 million. That's nearly $11 million. And that is a pretty significant figure. That's a lot. I don't know how much else I can say it. So in Australia, there's about 260,000 people that have a net worth of $10.9 million. Obviously, the average of the 1% is even significantly higher than that, but just to get into the top 1% is $10.9 million. So what are these people doing that are in the top 1%? There's a few different things that these people have done over the years that have led to them seeing a great amount of wealth enter into their network. So the first thing is entrepreneurship. So many of Australia's wealthiest individuals have made their fortunes through entrepreneurship, starting and growing successful businesses in a range of industries, such as technology, finance, and resources. And often you won't hear a lot from these people unless they're in the public eye. They generally keep to themselves, they run their business and make a lot of money. So entrepreneurship is a big one. I know for myself personally, it's been a massive driver of my income, which has allowed me to build a massive amount of wealth. So the next one is investments. Investing into assets such as stocks, real estate, and other financial instruments can be a pathway to wealth accumulation. Some individuals become really wealthy through successful investments in these areas. So for me personally, I found that I've had the most success with real estate. Eventually, over the next probably 20 years, I will enter the top 1% of wealth here in Australia, just based on a general guideline of how my assets should perform over time and as I continue to accumulate more and more. Obviously not a guarantee, but it is maths. So one of the big things when it comes to accumulating wealth is time. Time is absolutely critical. So you won't see a lot of people in their 20s that are in the top 1% of wealth holders. It's not to say it can't happen, of course, but time is a massively important factor when it comes to accumulating wealth. Another way that people can enter the 1% is, of course, inheritance. So this isn't as big a one as people might think. 80% of millionaires are self-made, which means that their parents or their grandparents, whoever, weren't millionaires. So about 20% inherit their wealth, which is not a high percentage. So most of it is coming from value that individuals generate. Of course, high-paying jobs, especially those in finance, law, medical industries, can also lead to significant wealth accumulation over time, because if you're earning a lot of money, it means that you can give a lot away to the government, which is great. We absolutely love that. But it also means that you can invest a lot, which will then compound over time. Property development is another way that you can grow your wealth. Individuals that are able to identify and capitalize on opportunities in real estate can reap significant financial rewards. So, top 1%, $10.9 million in assets. What did you guys think of these numbers? They are, of course, from Credit Suisse, but I'd be really interested to hear how you're going with your net worth journey. Where are you at? Are you on the road to $1 million? Have you passed $1 million? Are you on the way to try and get to being a multimillionaire? I'd be really interested to hear how you guys are going and what you think of these numbers, whether they seem high, seem low. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Seeney from the Australian Wealth Channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Look after yourself, keep striving to be better every day, and we'll see you later.